Welcome to the 6th episode of the season 2 of Ecobitch Actress podcast. We've had so many seasons, I almost forgot which season this was. What's up, guys? Let's plug first. I have a show coming up on the 12th of September, another one on the 19th of September. Please come. Let's welcome our co-host, Superman. Yeah. Okay, he just spoke Japanese. That's how Japanese men greet the cool ones, the bratty ones will say, yeah. It's been so long, I'll almost have to remind myself. For this podcast, first we start with an eco tip that's great for the environment, might not be for you, but who cares? Followed by an actress story from me that's awesome. Oh, today it's gonna be LGBTQ related, even more exciting. I have so many things to say. Please subscribe to the YouTube video version and subscribe on Instagram. I need 10,000 followers to monetize. Okay, if you can't give me money, at least do that, okay? Of course, all sponsorships are welcomed that I approve of. Yeah, not everything. If it's like something inappropriate, I'm not gonna be sponsored by that. Anyway, I digress. Today's eco tip is about something essential in your life. Jewelry. Yeah, everyone loves jewelry. Everyone needs jewelry. Everyone wants jewelry. And you can replace everyone with the word I, because yeah, I do. There are a ton of newly made jewelry on the market that are really tacky, and the gold is not really gold. I'm telling you, gold plated is not real gold. So today's tip is, instead of buying new with tag jewelry, buy vintage jewelry. Maybe this one. Anyway, I am just showcasing my jewelry. I have like 15 reasons why you should buy vintage jewelry instead of new jewelry. And because of the limitation of time, I'll only give out the first 3, but there are 15. So first of all, it's eco-friendly to buy vintage. It is absolutely not necessary to open up more mines. Do you know what mines do? You have to dig a huge hole. You destroy that mountain and you dig that hole, and all that dirt has nowhere to go. And the wind is dusty. The whole village gets dusty. You need a lot of water, a lot of machinery, and people get killed in those mines. I am serious. That's why it's called blood diamond. So we do not need to mine for new gems. As humans, we have already destroyed enough as it is. For thousands of years, we have enough. Everything you want, gold, silver, sapphires, emeralds, rubies, it's all digged up. We killed enough people, we destroyed enough land to obtain enough jewelry for basically everybody. So there is barely any reason to buy or to have new jewelry. The environmental impact is huge. By the way, I seem like an expert because, yeah, I do sell vintage jewelry, but don't worry, I'm not gonna sell you that vintage jewelry. I don't know if you can afford it. Just kidding. Okay, reason number 2, vintage jewelry have better designs. I'm not saying, always, but a lot of vintage jewelry are absolutely stunning and classy. For your daily wear or even for your proposal, it definitely is not subpar or less amazing if you give your girlfriend or somebody vintage jewelry. Most of the time it's well crafted, because nowadays it's machine made, mass produced. But in the olden times, vintage, even just a few decades ago, they made better jewelry. They had better designs and they used real gems. Which brings me to reason number 3. It is less likely that you will buy fake lab-made gems if you purchase vintage jewelry, because a lot of the new diamond, new sapphires, new rubies, they have been treated. A lot of the newer sapphires, rubies, topaz, I don't know about topaz, a lot of the stones are made in the lab. Emeralds, the ones that are high valued, they can be made in the lab, and that's fake or that's not natural, and it loses the point. But, if you buy a ring that's 40 years old, 50 years old, it's more likely that it's real because they did not start making those fake stuff yet. that long ago. So if you want real rubies, go for the vintage rubies. And if you think the design is too like old, you can revamp it. You can have a designer or somebody just remake it. But just procure the vintage ones. Yes, I do sell jewelry, but if you want to give money to me, just DM me and I'll send you a Venmo. Yeah. So that's not the point. The point for this eco podcast is I'm telling you, this is very underrated, but vintage jewelry is amazing. And diamonds are way, way overrated. In my opinion, there is moissanite. And that is, it's just diamonds. So, I mean, no need to mine for more diamonds. No need to kill people for blood diamonds, please. Amazing. That's a great note to end the eco tip. Today's actress story is barely actress, but it's true, it's real, and it just happened. So, as part of the actress training, or just me as a person, I take dance classes. The other day, I decided to try this new hip hop class. It's called hip hop film or something. So I've never heard of it. I was like, sounds like it's a cool new style. So I checked it out. I mean, at first, the class seems to be normal. It's all girls, which is cool. Everything seems like a normal hip hop class. I started feeling slightly sus when the teacher made us pair up and we are to do our dance moves while facing each other, which was awkward enough. But then the teacher also encouraged eye contact. Oh my God, I don't dig eye contact. I don't eye contact in life. And now I have to do this. So it was like this squiggly move where you're like moving like a worm. If you see the video, you can kind of see. It's like, like a squiggly worm move, which is already pretty self-conscious inducing. But then you have to dance that move staring at another girl. Say it was awkward was an understatement. And we had to, how do you call it? Like squiggle with different girls too. And that's when I started feeling slightly uncomfortable. But I thought it could just be like this specific new style. It's just new. Maybe Gen Z, Gen Alpha thing. I don't know. No, it's not going to be Gen Alpha. They're not like people oriented. Then I was starting to kind of doubt what this class was about. Okay, so it dawned on me when at the end, they're making people dance like in very small numbers. And we were clapping, right? And then I saw a girl did this. So she was like touching her thumb and her index finger like a little tappy tap. And I was like, I have never in my life seen anyone do this except drag queens. Nobody else. No, I've taken so many hip hop classes. No hip hop class have I ever seen anyone do this unless you're a drag queen. And that's when it dawned on me. And I'm like, is this class for lesbians? Is this a lesbians hip hop class? So I went home and I Googled, and it's hip hop femme. Femme means lesbian, I think, according to some AI. I'm like, I went to a lesbian hip hop class. That just blew my mind because I'm not a lesbian. And anyway, it just sparked so many new comedy bits for me. But long story short, after knowing or having very heavy suspicions of it being the lesbian hip hop class, I went back again. Well, not because I am a lesbian, but because I have a class card and it was the only class available before it expires, whatever. So I had to go back. And then I was just seeing more clues. First of all, the teacher had, dyed pink hair and stuff. Clue 1, right? And then these girls that came together, they clearly look like they drove here together, which means they probably live together. Probably they are a couple. And the friendly banters, some girls like wanna dance together. Oh my God, that's a lesbian coming onto me. Of course. Oh my God, why didn't I think of that? Of course, all these clues that I made up. The class is all girls. But anyway, at the end, I just felt like I had to do it. For comedy, I had to. I waited till the class clears out, which was a long time because these lesbian girls just can't stop chatting. So I went up to the instructor when we were alone and I chit-chatted, and then I just asked, is this like, it was so hard to ask, but I said, is this a lesbian hip hop class? And then the instructor flipped out or just basically laughed so hard, LOL'd so hard. But I was serious, right? I wasn't making a joke, but she got the joke. So I think at that moment is the comedy gold. I delivered and she laughed. And then, what am I talking about? And then, of course, she explained to me it's just that the style is inspired by LGBTQ community. That's why she put femme there. I'm such a brat. So I was like, so are there straight, are there straight people in the class? And then she was like, oh, we don't ask people's orientation. But she ended up saying, yeah, you don't have to be gay to be in this class, blah, blah, blah. It was just flipping awkward. And yeah, this will be a joke. I'm just using this podcast to test out jokes. Amazing. That has been the story. Please come to my show and follow me on Instagram, CDC Official. Bye.